Are you guys ready?
Ready when you
Okay.
are.
Courtney? Okay.
When you are.
All right, well, let's call this meeting to order. I have 6:30. We'll start with the invocation and the pledge. We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberation and our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. We pray especially for those who protect us all, military, law enforcement, first responders, and emergency medical personnel who will spend this Thanksgiving in service. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, that would bring us to item 3, public comments. No comments? Okay. Item 4, consider and take action on the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
A motion.
I'll second.
Great, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
I think, no, any opposed? I think I heard everybody. Thank you. Item 4 is new business. What did I skip?
You said number 4, it's number 5. You're good.
Sorry.
You're good.
Janie has made me a new thing to help me with all my comments on one page, and apparently I need to practice that. Consider and take action acknowledging the City of Simonton, Texas Sales and Use Tax Report. Ryan Fortner was on schedule to present that virtually today, but he has had a family emergency. So I will give you the summary, and the action really is just to accept the report. So you have the report in your supportive documentation, but I'll give you the highlights. The district updates, the site inspection and physical canvas is, the next physical audit is scheduled for January 2024. The e-commerce audit, Revenue Management Services is working with the Allocations Department of the Comptroller of Public Affairs to review purchases and deliveries from online retailers. It's a lengthy process, but it's been underway for several months. That is the same information you've heard before. I'm just make sure that we continue to share what it is. The allocation information, allocations for 2023 total $396,640.28 with an average monthly allocation of $36,058.21. Since 2000, the city's received $3,380,454.92 in sales tax receipts. October 2023 reflected 501 filers. That's a 2.3% increase from October of last year in 2022. The top 25 business filers in October remitted $48,550.32, which was 70% of the allocation received. And to date, Revenue Management Services has recovered $3,571.03 in missing sales tax revenue. The top 10 e-commerce accounts remitted $35,358.79 in the last 12 months.
Sorry, is that summary in our?
No, I'm just kind of giving you the summary of the giant.
Okay, I was like, it's
just-
everything that's in the packet that I read, but I was like, I don't see my summary.
He sent me a summary because he couldn't come.
So one that he's asking
Okay.
for is on page 8.
Right, the data is in there, it's just, I'm
Right.
giving you the top level instead of going through page by page
Yeah,
and
that's-
reading to you, since you can read it. Or we can compile some questions if you have that for Ryan, and have him prepared to answer those for our next meeting if we need to. Okay, top 10 e-commerce accounts in the last 12 months remitted $35,358.79. And the November 2023 allocation of $29,906.41 is 10% more than in November last year. It was $27,118.02. So good news, it's growing. We're capturing more and more of that all the time. And Ryan continues to provide us that detail. So we get a monthly report, and then this would be a quarterly update. And I think that's about 10 pages. Gives you lots of detail about where it's coming from and comparison over time. Do we have any questions or comments about that? Alrighty. If there are none, may we have a motion and a second to just acknowledge receipt of the Texas Sales and Use Tax Report, November 2023, that's Q4.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Item B, receive an update on the progress of the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, the CPAC. You can see that lots of work is going on with the CPAC we've left up on the walls materials that were presented a week ago when the CPAC had their latest meeting here at City Hall. This includes a lot of feedback that's been received through the link when the public was answering questions by phone. Anybody who's come to a meeting, we've been compiling and getting ready for our next step. So we had intended to have a short presentation giving a recap. That's not fully ready, so we will do that next month in December. But anybody who would like to look at this, who'd like to learn more, or if you have questions between now and then, feel free to let us know. They are still collecting input, but we're about to turn the corner and start working on the phase where the recommendations will be prepared. So this is just a in midstream update. That update will be on the regular December 19th council meeting. All right, item C. Authorize the mayor to sign a release indemnification and temporary license agreement with Twinwood USA related to the conduct of the 2023 Christmas Roundup. Twinwood has graciously agreed to let us use the slab over next to Anthony's, where the Red Barn used to be, to have our Roundup on December 2nd. They have just asked that we do this temporary license agreement. And I'm bringing this to you because during this transition time, I'm executing things that normally would be handled by the city administrator. So the city attorney and I compared notes, and we would really like to bring it to the council just to authorize signing that agreement. It doesn't cost any money. It's just a matter of setting the ground rules. Everybody knows what to expect on our side and their side. Yeah.
Justin, I mean, they looked over this, Mr. Justin, his office.
Yes. Yeah, Justin Pruitt at Olson & Olson has reviewed it. Any other questions or comments?
Did we have to maintain the insurance?
We do. Ryder.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, huh? That's the only question I had.
Yeah, okay, great. If I may then have a motion and a second to authorize me to sign the
Motion.
release.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, motion carries. Thank you. Next item is D, CenterPoint Energy Resources Corp., the filing of a statement of intent to change rates for gas utility. This is an administrative action where the resolution would have us agree to join in through Linebarger Law Firm. They are putting Texas cities together, and the benefit of joining in with this group is that we would work with cities and review an evaluation of whether the proposed rates are appropriate, fair, just, and reasonable. and intervene as necessary in the Railroad Commission, as a party in the Railroad Commission of Texas consideration of the CenterPoint rate filing as it affects customers in the unincorporated areas of CenterPoint's division. This is something that we typically do. We join in with a much larger group so that it can be negotiated fairly. There is one gas customer in Simonton, but it's still something that we need to make our voice heard and work with our neighboring cities.
Is it commercial or residential, the one customer?
Residential.
I was not expecting that either.
Right? Yeah.
That's a good question.
The action on this has to be taken by December 4th, so that's why we put that on the list today. If there are no other questions or comments, may I have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution?
Yeah. One question, is this the same, are we getting with the same group that we've gotten with in the past? Is this the same?
Linebarger usually is, and they were earlier this year with the electric rates when we
Okay.
discussed that. It's a separate activity, but very
It's
similar.
the same. Okay.
Yes. Any other questions or comments? All righty, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Great, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, the motion carries. By the way, we had to look it up. I didn't know there was one customer in Simonton, so.
A lot of work for one person.
That's right. Item E, acknowledgement update on the E-Code 360 project. E-Code is where we are recodifying all of our ordinances. It is rolled into part of development of the comprehensive plan. This has been ongoing for, I think, 6 months now. So they have now passed the ball to us. There is a 75-question digital manuscript, and it requires editorial and legal analysis. So it's not 75 questions, you just can, fill in the boxes. It's going to take some work. We have until March to complete our portion in order to keep the project on schedule. And I am asking, I need at least two people who would be willing to help answer the questions. Of course, legal, we will divide and send that to your attorney's office, put the other items in there. Okay, we've got one with Justin, thank you. I was gonna let you know, Janie will provide a training so that everybody who's gonna volunteer gets the same information, the same training, and we will divide and conquer and then bring it all back together. And that's the plan. I don't know if you could hear her, but Courtney said she would
sorry.
help.
Oh, great.
Justin and Courtney,
Okay, great, thank you.
if any other council members want to help with that, you're welcome.
I'll help you if
We
you
can
want.
have more than two? Great. All right, thank you so much. March seems like a long way away, but it's been really worrying me about getting all this done. Great, thank you. So, just so you know, it's moving forward, now it's on to us. They, in the background, will continue to work on the new legislative updates that have come out of the session going on at the Texas House, or Congress, I should say. So they'll continue their side and be ready for us, and whenever we're ready. If we're through early, then we'll just move at an earlier pace.
We can move it back.
Right.
Fancy down there.
Yeah. All right.
Very good at it.
Moving on to item 6 in reports. Personnel and recruitment. I believe everybody on council is aware, but Julie has accepted a position with Katy ISD, which will allow her the excellent opportunity to be on a schedule that jives with her young children. She has graciously offered that she will continue to work with us to make sure we get bills paid and stay up to date on things until we hire a replacement, at least through December. So she will work in office on her same sort of schedule she's part-time been doing until December 1st. And then after that, she will basically be completely remote. She will actually come up here one evening a week and we'll sign checks and do things that have to happen in person. But You won't see her at the desk, so that will mean we're short a person at the window. So the sooner we get some assistance on that, and the better. We may also take some local residents up on their offers to come in and help us just with reception and answering the phone. So more to be developed on that, but a little more information about Julie. We'll be sure and do something nice for her and say thank you for her 2 years of service, really taking on a lot of extra work for somebody who was originally hired as data entry. We also have 6 new applications for city secretary and city administrator in the last 10 days. And it's very encouraging. We've got some folks with some really good credentials. So I will be contacting you as we decide what's the best team for everybody to meet, and we'll start letting council members get to know more about them coming up soon. Item A2 on the reports, ERCOT membership. Wanted to let you know that we have joined ERCOT. It's very similar to the Centerpoint filing where Texas cities join together in membership. They review, study, and consider the utilities, as they're making rate changes in policy. It's aided by industry professionals, so it's not something that we have to hire the attorney and go on our own. This is a collaboration. And I've included the letter from Lloyd Gosselink, attorney at law, so that you could see some of the, what is ERCOT, why would you want to join, that sort of thing. Item 3, Fort Bend County Subsidence District update. The Subsidence District has requires that we permit our well here at City Hall. They haven't ever billed us for it, or required us to do that, or sent us a request to do that until this year. So in, I think it was September, we received our first letter. We have permitted for this year, it's $25, and we received our permit number, so we're good to go. But they have now sent us a letter asking us to back pay for the years that we did not permit our well, even though we weren't ever notified that they wanted that to be registered. So just wanted you to let you know the annual fee is $25. We're up to date for 2024, so we're good till December of 2024. They're asking for payment from 2015 to 2023. Their settlement offer that they provided was $1,630. I responded, and so I'm in negotiations about this. I responded that we would be willing to pay the $25 per year since it would be in arrears, but that we're not willing to pay penalties. I will have to let you know how that negotiation goes. Just wanted you to be aware that that's going on. Yeah. Since there's no other water supply available, that's why I really am pushing back on that.
Yeah, that's a huge.
As well. Yeah. So more to follow. Item 4, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, the TCEQ. 2 things about this. First of all, we received this notice that's in your packet about a renewal, or application for renewal for wastewater. Just so that you're aware, this is in Weston Lakes, Mud District 81. It is not in Simonton. It's not north of Simonton. It doesn't affect us at our location. I have reached out to Mayor Wall, and I did not get a response in time to know if they have asked for us to join in or send some letter of support to TCEQ or not, or if they need anything. But if they do, if they would like us to offer some support, I would need to know if the council, the consensus of council would be to support them. My understanding is this is existing in Weston Lakes, and it's a renewal of system they're already operating. We don't have to do anything, but so we're just taking a consensus on, a pulse on consensus. The other thing about this is I've gotten 2 phone calls and a couple of social media messages because we had a member in the community make a social media post recently, I think trying to give kudos in the community to people who rallied around when we had some TCEQ issues last year with the potential concrete plant. And then the RV park that we defeated in 2019. And then this letter the TCEQ letter was mailed to everybody within a certain amount of miles of this mud. So it raised alarm bells that, oh my gosh, is the Hakeem Olajuwon RV park trying to resurrect, and they've already gotten a permit, and what's happening. So if anyone were to ask you, that was all old information. The RV park is not back on the table, and this permit isn't in the same geographic location and is not related to that earlier project. So rest assured that we're not fighting that battle right now. If we do anything with this at all, it would just be if the city of Weston Lakes were to request that we write a letter of support. Do you have questions? I said about a lot of things at once.
The only question I have is why would we support them dumping into the river? Even if it is below us.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
Years ago, I had the opportunity to meet with TCEQ about that. TCEQ actually once treated effluent in the river. It's discharged and used downstream, just like the water in the river today. It comes from other communities. They actually want it in the river.
So it's not straight out of their plant.
Right.
It's treated first.
Gotcha.
And very much. Thank you, Mr. McJunkin.
Thank you as well. It's like, oh, they're dumping in the river. That's kind of scary. It doesn't say anything about
Right.
cleaning it out.
You're going to get into the permit and read a lot
Yeah.
about it, but it's in there if you'd like to read more. So the question is, would we have a consensus to write a letter of support if Weston Lakes would like that?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
That's
all right. All right, thank you. I don't expect they need anything, but I'll be ready for that if they do. Item 5, the ARPA expansion City Hall update. Just a progress report so that you know that I think it's the last document in your packet today too. LJA has been out 2 or 3 times. Our architect that is working on the ARPA project has been out 3 times. They're working on the civil site plans. I'm sorry, LJA has completed about 90% of the civil. It's right before the last green, there you go, with the blue heading. Got it? Architectural plans are expected to be ready for initial review by November 30th. And Geotech completed their field work. They're the ones that I've said have been out a few times and did all of the electronic measuring. So they're completing the engineering report and recommendations. We should receive their report by November 27th. So the goal continues to be that we will be ready to go out to bid on this project by January 1st. So we've got quite a few things they've got a few things to accomplish, and council will be asking your feedback before then. So on December 5th, which would be our reserved Tuesday for City Council, we will either have a City Council meeting, and it will include some workshop activity to get your feedback about what versions, or we will hold a workshop. Depends on what other city business we have for that meeting, if any. So I'll keep you posted on that. We'll plan for December the 5th. And the plans on the table here, if you'd just like to take a look at it, this is the preliminary plot plan or site plan that shows the aerial of the building. It's on a photo so you can see the neighbor and the trees and all of that stuff of where it would be. The idea right now is that it would go to as far as the current parking lot, which still leaves more than enough room before our boundaries on that side. There's some discussion about whether we should extend farther than that so that there's room for 2 bays and some extension of the chamber. But by the 5th, we will have recommendations for all of those options and what those things cost. And then council can decide, do we do a multi-phase project? Do we prioritize the chambers over the second bay? Whatever that needs to look like. They will have options for us with some preliminary estimates for each.
Is that going through LJA, or is it split up individually, or are they handling? the full project?
LJA is pretty much the job manager.
Okay, so they're running.
So they're running it and keeping everything moving forward for
Okay.
us. And then we work
With their.
with the grant administration company. But so he's helping us drive, getting everything on paper accumulated so that we can make decisions about what that looks like. And then we'll be ready to move forward. He'll help us put together, I keep saying LJA will help us put together the bid package. And we'll be ready to publish that at the beginning of January. Any other questions about it? Okay. There'll be more detailed blueprints, or I should say plans, at that meeting as well. All right, that's it for my reports. Ms. Janie, do you have any reports?
Well, the only thing I have is real briefly, that as I started going through the process of doing the permits for the Roundup, that we made a discovery, and that is that the city has a module that was purchased from before, and now it's on the website, so that if people want to use their credit card, they can self-administer their own credit card information without having to surrender that information to anybody internally. And it's really kind of a cool thing. Most cities have some sort of payment portal, but that was a nice discovery. So that's all.
Thank you, Jane. Jane made sure that it's live, it's on the web, and folks can use it. It's not only for permits. They could use it if they're going to pay any kind of a fee
Citation.
or a citation if we had any building a house. So that was a great upgrade. Anybody on city council have a report? All right. If not, then item 7 is adjournment. I have 6:57. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
You as well. Thank you. I was gonna go.